guys, my name is Jamie. This is going to be the first video of my pregnancy blog, and I just kind of, before we get into it, I want to give you a little background and tell you about my life and my husband Ryan, and just kind of talk about why I'm doing this. So a few years ago, it was the summer of 2009, my best friend Jessica told me, she said, "Hey, I know this guy and I think you need to meet him. You guys seem like you'd really hit it off. You have these weird personalities and he just seems like he's perfect for you. I think you need to meet him." And at the time I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, I don't really want to meet a guy right now. I'm okay just, doing my own thing. And I was really hesitant, and they actually had set something up and I ended up not going. But a few days later I was like, okay, I'll meet him. And so she told me, she was like, all right, he's going to come over tonight, and he's a little rough looking, he's not clean cut, he's, so if you don't think he's your type or whatever, just give me this look and I'll know. And so he walks in and I see him and I think he's really cute and good looking, and I see her out of the corner of my eyes staring at me, and I look over and I just smile, so then she knows. And Ryan and I started talking, and pretty soon, it was July 24th, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and we made it official. And everything was going really well, and 2 years later, on the same day, July 24th, but 2011, we got married. And eventually, we had our first baby. We had a son named Reese, and he's now 2 years old. And a few months ago, we decided that Reese was ready to be a big brother. He was becoming a toddler and he seemed a little lonely. He needed somebody to play with. And Ryan and I had both kind of wanted a girl too, and so we decided we would try. There's certain things you can do to try for a girl. There's no guarantee, but of course we would be happy either way. Reese just wanted to be a big brother. So about 3 months into our trying, it was finally time to take another test. And I woke up that day and I just knew it. I was like, it's going to be a positive test today. And Ryan wasn't home, but I took the test, and sure enough, it was positive, and I was really excited. And so I thought, okay, I'm just going to kind of leave it on the bathroom counter, and Ryan will find it when he comes home. So he was home for kind of a while, and he had gone to the bathroom, and he didn't see it. So I had to take him in there, and I said, look, Ryan, I took the test, and he's kind of like looking at it, and then I showed him the paper, and he's like, oh, it's positive, And so he was really excited, and he gave me a big hug. He was just so happy. He had this big smile on his face. And so that was on a Saturday. And a few days later, it was Thursday, I went to the mall with my best friend Jessica, the one who introduced me to Ryan. And we had lunch, and we were just shopping and all that, and just kind of talking about stuff. I told her that I was pregnant, and we were excited and all that. So then I finally come home, and it's about 4:30, and I was feeding Reese, and then there was a knock at the door, and my mom was here, so she answered it. And I hear somebody say, "Is Jamie Turner here?" And I was like, what is that, So I go over and I look, and it's the cops, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what did I do? That was like my first instinct, because it's the cops. And then they walk in, and they come toward me, and they say, "Jamie, we need you to sit down." And right when they said that, you see that on TV, the cops come in, they ask somebody to sit down, and it's never good, And so she had this clipboard, and she said, "Jamie, I'm from the Orange County Coroner's Office." And I just knew, I just had this feeling in the pit of my stomach. It was just this knot. And she said, "Your husband Ryan was in an accident on his motorcycle, and he didn't survive." And then everything after that was just kind of a blur. I don't even remember anything that she said after that, pretty much. She gave me a card with somebody's name I had to call. I didn't even know why. Luckily, my mom was there listening for me, because I couldn't even hear anything. And I looked at her and I said, "Does his mom know?" And she said, "No, you're the first one that we've told. They gave us your name." And I looked at her and I said, I have to tell his mom. And she said, yeah. And that's all I could think about. And then of course, the first thing that popped into my head was, I just found out I'm pregnant 5 days ago. And so I don't even remember them leaving. I just, my mom walked him out or whatever. And so the next thing I had to do was tell his family. So my dad said that he was going to take me. He was going to drive me because I wasn't in a condition to be driving. And so I went to his family's house and told them, and of course that only went as well as imagined. And so, about a week after that, I had my first doctor's appointment. And my mom went, and so did his mom. And they went for support. And we were looking at the ultrasound, and the doctor says it doesn't really look like anything, Jamie. I can't tell. According to your dates, it's not developing. She said it looks like it might be a miscarriage eventually. So, we'll have you come back in a couple weeks for some blood testing. We'll check your hormone levels and all that. So I went back and I had my blood taken. And then, I didn't have any signs of a miscarriage or anything like that. So I had another appointment a couple weeks later. And on the ultrasound, I saw these 2 little blobs. And the doctor, listens to each one, and each one had a heartbeat. And she said, Jamie, I can't even believe it, but you're having twins. And she said, I didn't even expect that after what I saw last time. It didn't look like anything, and I can't believe it. You defeated the odds, You're having twins. And honestly, the first thing I thought about was, where are the twins going to fit? Because I'm 4'9" and I was 85 pounds at the time. I'm just a really small person, and of course it kind of scared me at first. I'm like, I'm having twins, and my husband just died, and my mother-in-law was there with me, and she started crying, and pretty soon I was getting really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having 2 babies, it's a miracle. So then I told everybody, and well, not everybody, just a few select people. I of course called my mom, I told my best friend, and so then, everything kind of changed a little bit. I was really upset about Ryan, until this point. Of course I was still upset, but it was really hard. I was just thinking to myself, I have to keep this baby alive. I can't, get too stressed out. I need to eat. I need to, take care of the baby. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm having twins. It was just so surreal. And right when I found out, I was thinking, I want a boy and a girl. That would be amazing. We'd been trying for a girl, but I kind of think Reese would like a brother too, And so that's kind of what I was hoping for. And of course people are like, oh, well, that's not very common. I don't know. I don't know what the odds are or whatever. And I just had it set in my mind, I want a boy and a girl. And so I had another appointment, and at this point the doctor was able to see what was going on, and we saw one of the babies, and he said, oh, it's a boy. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's a boy. And so then he's looking for the other one, and it won't sit still. He's like, I can't see that one. We'll have to try another time. And so I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what the other one is. It could be a girl, but, if they're identical twins, it's going to be another boy, and I'll have 3 boys, and I don't know what to think. And so then I had another appointment a few weeks later, and the doctor's checking. It's a different doctor, and she said, okay, yeah, you knew this one was a boy, and so we'll check for the other one. And she says, oh, that one looks like a girl, and I just immediately started crying. And she's like, oh, is that a good thing? Or I said, my husband really wanted a girl. And she said, well, he gave you a girl. And so I got exactly what I wanted. I got a boy and a girl. And so that was really exciting. And this whole thing has kind of been a blessing, because I don't know how I would, deal with everything if I didn't have something to look forward to, that's my story. I am now 24 weeks pregnant. I'm due in June. And I wanted to introduce you to my friend Jessica because she's been here for me through this whole thing. She's been amazing, and she's going to be here doing the vlogs with me, and we're going to kind of document everything for you. So this is Jessica. I just wanted her to say hi.
Hey guys, I'm Jessica. I'm the one that introduced Jamie and Ryan. And as you can see, she's been on quite a journey. And she's one of the strongest people I know. And everyone's very proud of her. We're excited for the twins.
And so she's going to be here with me updating you guys. We're probably going to do a video every week and kind of let you guys know what's going on. We're going to document exciting things we find out, and you know, the baby shower and all that fun stuff. And we'll probably do a little bit in the labor and delivery room if everything
see the babies get born.
goes okay. And so hopefully you guys want to tune back in and see what's going on with us. This is my second pregnancy, so if you have any questions about, you know, maybe how twins is different so far or anything like that, go ahead and ask us questions. We'll answer them for you guys next week, and hopefully you'll tune back in. So
We're
thanks
excited.
for hanging out.
Bye guys.
Bye.